Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to P3D. It is good to see you all after quite a while. I feel like I'm saying this every time I come back, because I'm always going away. Today, we're going to try something new. This is a new period for the Darren's Highlights channel, and there's a lot of new things coming. We're going to try some new editing tactics and new ways of displaying the video that hopefully you will enjoy. Today, we are in the Boeing 737 PMDG, and we're at Mega Airport Oslo. We're in the Norwegian 737, and today we're going to be flying over to Helsinki. It's a popular route and it is flown pretty much every single day by Norwegian. Right now we are just getting the catering on board and making sure that the passengers have enough food for the flight. We don't want those passengers going hungry. The route is a simple one, as you can see here. It's just taking us across Sweden and then into Helsinki, coming in from the west. Standard approach, standard ILS, and it shouldn't be anything out of the ordinary. In this video, we're going to do some slightly different things. We're going to go over some Q&A questions that you guys have submitted for 500 subscribers. And I'm going to let you guys know where the channel is going in the next couple months. The airport itself, Oslo, is fantastic. I mean, look at it. It is marvellous. It is one of the better airport sceneries in my collection, and it just provides such ambience. In addition to this, we also have the Traffic Pack SPAI, which offers dynamic traffic for when we're not advancing. This traffic's great, and I will go into detail about why it's so great later on in the video. The airport we'll be using for the arrival is still Helsinki, and Mega Airport Helsinki, and both products are by Airsoft, links to which are in the description. The route today will take around an hour and 30 minutes based on winds, and I think it's time that we sort of jump into the cockpit and see what's going on. Inside the cockpit, we are setting up the FMC, setting up the perf initialization page. We are cruising today at 37,000 feet, and we're just entering the transition level, as well as our cruising altitude. We use Active Sky to gather our weather data for our top of climb. The winds are calm today, so they shouldn't cause much issue or delay. We'll activate that and go into our N1 thrust limit. Today we're taking takeoff 2 with an assumed temperature of 33 degrees, which gives us climb power 1. The bags are just being loaded on, and the passengers are pretty much on their way to the terminal to be loaded onto the aircraft as well. I don't know why the red and blue bags haven't been changed, but an update is apparently coming to GSX, so we can only hope that the passengers will finally get different coloured bags, ladies and gentlemen. It is a hope that I have. All being well though, the GSX update should be coming out soon, and we should be able to see what it has in store for us. Now the passengers, I think it's time that we get them on this aircraft, so bing bong, here they come. GSX V2 obviously, finally using some gates. This is one of the pros of Oslo, has really nice gates like this. We're carrying, I think it's 189 passengers today. A lot of people going to Helsinki. I don't know why. It is a bit early for Santa Claus, but you never know, they might be off to Lapland. On an early vacation. Who have we got? We've got some gentlemen in business suits. There's some, looks like a millennial gone rogue, an elderly gentleman and his wife. Anyway, the tow truck is now just pushing us back. I'm going to jump into the cockpit. You're going to go back and hear my past self guide you through the rest of the flight. But once again, this is the last thing I'm going to say. If you guys want to see more of this, please let me know. I put a lot of effort into this new video, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. But without saying much more, I'm going to let my past self take over, and he's going to take you to Helsinki. So strap in and enjoy your flight. And now we're on the flight deck, ladies and gentlemen. It's me talking in real life. Starting up engine number 2. N1 and N2 is rising. Tow truck disconnecting. And we're just going to start the engine cutoff lever for number 2 and spool up the engines. Meanwhile, we get our dispatch clearance from the ground. All of our equipment has now been disconnected and ready to go. We can see the hand of the marshaller waving there, letting us know that we are free to go on our way whenever we wish. We are waiting for starter cutout on engine 2, after which we will start engine 1, and that is the starter cutout. Engine mode switch to continuous, and start engine 1. And engine's now started, coming to the overhead panel, switching engine generators on, disconnecting APU and turning the APU off. Now switching to generator 1 and TR1, switching on the on damper and reinstating the packs, taking off engine bleeds. Anti-ice not required. Anti-collision lights should have been on a little while ago, but they are on now. Wheel well unnecessary, wing light unnecessary, and logo light definitely unnecessary at this time of day. Runway turn-offs and taxi light can come on, and flaps can be set to position 5. Auto brake is on RTO, and our CDU is on takeoff reference page, and our first officer is on legs. Turning the transponder now to ATC1 and to T8 only, and doing a quick test. You can see in the distance.
Test. Pass.
SAS. I can't tell if that is a... no idea what that is. And now making preparations to taxi to one, I think it's one right we're taxiing to today. So increase of the throttle and just jostle it about. Quick brakes, make sure our brakes are working. And start the clock. So we're travelling to Helsinki today, as I said, and this scenery is, as I stated previously, mega airport Oslo. Fantastic scenery by all accounts. The traffic I'm using, the SPAI traffic and pack, it is fantastic. It just adds that extra sense of immersion and realism to the simulator that you would not get otherwise. VATSIM is good, but VATSIM doesn't offer constant traffic. Traffic comes and goes, whereas here the traffic is a constant feeling of immersion. Whenever we turn the corner like that, we're suddenly faced with a large aircraft, such as the Dreamliner that has just pulled up in front of us. This airport, the ground markings are fantastic. Everything is brilliant. Aerosoft do a fantastic job of making these airports. We're travelling to 2 Aerosoft airports today, and both are fantastically designed. Sound is a little bit on the loud side for the 737. I believe that's because I forgot to turn it down. However, I think I will turn it down before we take off. The taxi routing at Oslo is very simple. 2 runways, both parallel to each other, and we're going to be following on to Taxiway Hotel to bring us down to the start of runway 1 right. So if you like this new style of videos, please let me know. I've put a lot of effort into thinking about how I'm going to construct videos now, how I'm going to make them, and what my construction process is going to be. If you like this video, then please let me know and I will make more of them. These videos do take a little bit longer to make than my previous videos, but they are shorter in length because they are edited more heavily and they offer more cinematic shots. I must give props to Flight Sim Deck. He is a fellow YouTuber in the Flight Sim community and has inspired me greatly with a lot of the work that I'm showing you today. His cinematic tutorials offer great advice, and I will link them all in the description and recommend that you check them out. You will also notice my thumbnails are actually quite similar to his because I also followed his tutorial on thumbnails using my own distinct lettering, colours and style to go with my channel, and they are, as you will see, quite similar to his. So please go check his channel out. He has a larger channel than me, but he still needs all the help he can get to get more viewers because his content is absolutely fantastic and well worth watching. So I will link all of his stuff in the description and I will make sure to send you all over there and let them know that I sent you as a fellow YouTuber. Coming up now behind this Dreamliner, I believe we will be second in line to take off from the runway as soon as that Dreamliner takes off we should have to wait a minute or so, but then we should be able to follow. Departing out east today towards Helsinki, it is a short hop over Sweden and into Finland. Temperatures today at Helsinki ranging in 9 degrees. So overall the temperatures at Helsinki are quite nice. The weather at Oslo right now is beautiful, clear and sunny skies. As far as I can see, winds are calm, practically no wind on the runway, so we won't have to worry about that. We're approaching the runway now, 01 right. You can see there, I believe there's another Norwegian on the approach just in front of us, so we will let him go first. We're going to take this quick entry here so we can get a quick takeoff, because I doubt we'll need the full runway. We're using takeoff 2 today, which again, I'm not sure if it's necessary, but we're going to use it anyway. And we're using it reduced with an assumed temperature of 33 degrees. It looks like it is a Norwegian pulling in front of us, which is fantastic to see another company aircraft land before we take off. And we're just going to reduce speed, hit the brakes, and turn in here to the holding point. There he comes. They're not the most delicate at landings. They do slam down quite hard. I believe Ryanair are their pilots for every single airline in this traffic pack. But there you go. Fantastic. You can see reversers have been deployed, speed brakes and his flaps are down. So it's another one of these little details that make this mod fantastic. I'll just pause now and slam the parking brakes on as we'll just check that everything's in order. Flight switches are set to continuous. We'll turn the tax light off and turn the landing lights off. Set strobes to steady and we'll bring the cabin just to let them know that's us ready to go. A quick view of the overhead panel lets us see if there's anything amiss. Everything looks fine. So I believe we are ready to taxi onto the runway. I'm going to leave the sounds as they are for now, just to check to see how it sounds. But we will pull onto the runway. Okay, yeah, so like I said, this is something that the AI does. As you can see, the AI can be a bit buggy sometimes, but we will just ignore it and pretend that it's not there. As we pull onto the runway, I'm actually just going to give myself a little bit more space by about this much and just turn on. Update the altimeter, it hasn't changed, which is good. And we're going to pull on, like so. This runway does seem very short from this point of view. This might not be enough, but if not, we can always take manual control and it might be a bit of a scary takeoff. So we'll increase throttle now to 50%. And toga. And that's thrust set. I'm unaware of what's causing the texture glitch. I believe it's a conflict with Orbex, but I don't actually know what's causing that. And that's 80 knots. Okay. This is... Okay, yeah, maybe we should have used more of the runway. We're gonna make it.
V1.
Rotate.
V2.
And we're gonna hold 15 degrees of pitch, positive rate, gear up. Quick view of the outside. Fantastic stuff. Look at that. Absolutely incredible. Back in the inside now, we're going to reduce our pitch. And we're going to fly it by stick, so we're going to make a quick bank. Like so, following the flight director. And pitching up as we now engage the autopilot, which is going to throw us through a loop like that. We're going to have a speed intervention now and bring our speed up just to stop it from doing that, which is quite annoying. And we're going to take us direct ahead through this standard instrument departure. Landing gear can come off and auto brakes disarmed. Look at that. Lovely day here in Norway and lovely day in Oslo for departure. Oslo actually off to the right hand side of the aircraft. And we're now going to bring flaps to position 1. And we'll increase our altitude to 37,000. Like so. We'll plop an altitude intervention since there's no ATC, and we'll bring flaps up. Flaps are now up fully, and we are fully committed into the climb. We'll bring the retractable landing lights off, as well as the runway turn-offs. Turning the engine start switches off. And making sure that everything above on the overhead panel is still displaying normal. As we climb, the temperature will decrease and we will turn on the anti-ice accordingly. But for now we are just still in the initial stages of the climb, and we can lose the speed intervention and allow us an increase to 2.5 as we accelerate through 10,000 feet. Approaching 7,000 feet and we'll engage standard mode, which brings our hectopascals down to 1013. And now I'm going to sit back, relax, and enjoy my climb as we head on to Helsinki. So we're up at 30,000 feet, on the way to Helsinki until we arrive, landing 22 left today. We're exiting off the left hand side once we get onto the runway, parking up at a stand. I'm not quite sure if it's a gate or if it's a stand yet. I suppose we'll find out when we get down there. The weather is lovely today. The weather radar's on, as you can see. There is hee-haw, as a Scottish person would say, on the radar. I thought I'd do some questions now. A couple months ago, well, last year, I put in a Q&A request for my 500 subscriber special, which I suppose this is, really. You know, new start, new me, blah blah blah. And I've selected 500 questions to answer. There was about 20, and I don't know, maybe we can go over a couple more in the future, but these are the 5 best ones that I've selected to ask. Gleaming Tuber asks, how long have you been into flight simming, and do you have any aspirations to take your flying further? Well, that's a great question. I got into flight simming, my first flight sim was FS 2004, and I got that, oh god, ages ago, when I was kids. And I used to just muck about, pretend I was a proper pilot, and you know, vanilla aircraft in FS 2004. It was hardly the hallmark of quality, but for the time it was quite good. And after that, I think my next simulator was Microsoft Flight Simulator, which I had up until around 2016, after which I went to P3D. But I remember many a good time in the Flight Simulator trying to do the little missions. I remember a lot of the missions were fantastic fun. Do I have any aspirations to take my flying further? It's a tough question, because really it comes down to where I'm going in life right now. Right now I'm at university, so that takes up quite a lot of my time, but right now I'm on my summer break from March till September, where I do nothing, so you know, maybe it's something to look into. Right now I don't know. Right now I'd quite like to get my YouTube and Twitch up and going, but we'll wait and see. Kitten Killer 2690, fantastic name, sir, said, compared to real life operations, how realistic would you say your flight simulator is? So, believe it or not, I'm not a real pilot, so I couldn't tell you exactly. But from what I've heard and friends in the flight sim community that are pilots, it's very realistic. P3D and the PMDG especially offers a great level of simulation. All the systems are replicated from the real world, and it's an officially licensed product by Boeing, so everything's quite good. As you can see, the CDU, which is here, displays everything we need to see on the flight deck, as well as the overhead panel has everything that we ever need to fly the aircraft. An anonymous question is, what are your tips for a good looking flight sim? It's pretty simple, mate. Keep it easy, keep it simple. If you get it right, guys, if you want a good flight sim, keep it simple. Don't go over the top. You need a good shader and you need active sky. You need some soft clouds and that's it. You need nothing else in that. Chase plane maybe. Keep it simple. Do not go overboard. You've got to remember, in real life, they're not putting 5,000 shaders on their flight sim. Keep it simple, keep it straightforward, and you get a sim that looks like this. At the end of the day, everything you're seeing today is just good camera techniques. Woos asks, do you plan on streaming flight sim, or do you recommend any streamers to watch? So right now I'm not streaming actively, but I am going to start over the summer. There's a link to my Twitch channel in the description if you want to see that. Go down there and you can follow it. It'll keep you up to date for whenever I stream. I'm planning to do some streams over the summer. I recommend 2 good streamers to watch right now. Obviously, you probably know who they are. Chewy, great streamer, really funny, and he always does good videos. And Matt Davies, or Bellends, as you probably know him, do it quite funny. I mean, I just like listening in, because it is quite funny to listen to them rant on and do flights and all that. And sometimes when they make mistakes, it is quite funny to watch. And I'm pretty sure they'll even admit it is quite hilarious to watch. So yeah, they're the 2 streamers that I love watching. Yeah. And finally, Fantastic Gamer 31 says, will you buy the FS Labs for P3D? Yes, I'm planning on investing in that over the summer and learning it. The Aerosoft is great, but I'd like something more in depth. So those are the 5 questions. I hope that has answered a couple of questions about me and about my simulator. What we're actually going to do now is we're going to plan our approach. So as I stated before, we're landing on 22 left today. So what we'll do is we'll go into the departure and arrival and click on the arrivals section. And we'll go for the ILS 22 left approach. As you can see, it comes up there. Quickly tab out and go into our routes page to get our star, which is the Lakut Free Juliet arrival. We'll go into route and we'll execute that, and we're now going to start mucking about with it. So we'll go into our plan mode and we'll bring our range down and we'll start doing some step-by-steps to see where exactly we're going to be going. Maybe a little bit out, just so we can see what we're dealing with. Right. So that actually looks not too bad. That looks not too shabby. I don't think we're going to need to change that. Nope, I think we are perfectly fine with that. Yep. Nope, that's great. We don't need to change anything. I'm happy with flying that in and then doing vectors after the fact. That is no problem at all. And that's increased our top of descent to almost 10 past 11. So about 20 minutes. We'll go into our init ref. We're taking a flaps 40 landing today. Our VREF is 140, so not too slow for the landing. Our course is 220, so if we come up to the MCP, we can select that now. A very loud mouse in the background scrolling to select the course. And we'll do it on the first officer's side as well for good measure, like so. Going to come down now to the panel, the communications panel, and set the ILS for 22 left is 110 decimal free. So 110 decimal free, and we'll set this on the first officer side as well, like so. No auto landing, not that we would need it today because the weather conditions are nice in Helsinki, so that is not required. Auto brake, well, we're going to be taking level 2 as per usual, and we'll notify the cabin of our arrival. And that will give them some time to prepare. We have just passed Sweden, I believe, and we're now crossing the strait to get to Finland. Another thing that I was thinking of doing was maybe getting some new Orbex ground textures to replace this, because everything else looks incredible, but I was thinking maybe some better textures might be the way to go. Nevertheless, I will leave you now, folks, and I will get you on the approach into Helsinki. Now on the approach into Helsinki. Passing through just under 8,000 feet, QNH is 1024. Obviously we're decreasing our speed and we're getting prepared to deploy the flaps as we prepare to capture the localizer and descend on the glide slope. As mentioned previously, this is an ILS landing, so we'll be intercepting in a couple of minutes here. Intercepting through, we could either do an intercept now, but I think I'm going to let us go for the turn. It's not often I keep on the LNAV. Normally I like to vector myself and I just find it more enjoyable. But for today the setup seems quite actually perfect, if I'm being honest. It's not very often I see an LNAV approach like this that has an ILS setup like this. I mean, yeah, it's not the longest final, but it's short enough, we'll make do. We are now just about to decel even more. We have our descent path set up on the first officer screen, and our courses are laden in and set. Helsinki's just off to our right there, and everything on the top panel, our landing lights are on, and no one saw that. Our seatbelts have been on this entire time, and we'll just adjust our landing altitudes as well. Just, I think it's 50 feet off there. But yeah, enjoyable flight, nothing much of note. We'll take a speed intervention now down to 220, why not? And we'll deploy speed brakes. Expect a little bit of frames drop as we enter the Helsinki. Helsinki will load as we pass over the terrain. So you can see the roads down there and motorways. As I stated previously, I'm going to look into maybe getting Orbex. Orbex Norway or Orbex England, or that, because those are the two countries I do generally like to fly. Norway I fly into a lot, generally just because I love the landings and the approaches at Norway. I have quite a few Norway airports. I have Oslo, Bergen, Tromsø. They are just generally fun to fly into. I think a lot of people would agree with me on that mark. We're now just passing through 6,000 feet and our ground speed is now coming up. We're getting ready to turn on the LNAV to intercept the localizer. And we are 23 nautical miles from the end of descent, which is fine. And once again, as we're coming into land, if you want to see more videos in this style, please let me know. If you don't, also let me know. This is really whatever you guys want. I am making these videos to please myself as well as you guys. So, okay, we're 4 nautical miles out from that turn now. We will decrease our display switch and we will arm localizer, and we'll bring speed decrease to flaps up speed to 10. I'm actually going to install vertical speed now to match the intercept, because I like to do it myself, because sometimes I don't trust the computer. Because we are a bit high. Let's expedite this descent, see if we can get down any quicker. Right, that looks like it'll be fine. It does mean we come in a little bit fast, but overall it should be fine. We're now making this right hand turn. We are on the descent path, which is fine. And I believe this is actually 3,000, so we should be able to decrease our... In fact, we should just be able to... Let's put VNAV back on. And VNAV is now controlling the speed as well. So we're now looking to capture the localizer as we make our turn to 22 left. Traffic looks clear. No traffic on the approach. Now descending through 4,000 feet. and we are 15 nautical miles away, and we are preparing to engage flaps. Decrease speed now to 200 for initial approach. We might be a tad... oh no, never mind. Localizer captured, and we'll arm glide slope. And we're actually on the glide slope already. Let's bring in flaps 1, see if we can slow ourselves down a little bit, and we'll arm approach speeds. We'll just go full approach speed. Let's go 160 for now. See if we can actually get our speed to decrease, because I would rather have a lower speed. Engine start switches will now bring on to continuous. Our speed is pretty high. Our speed brakes are down. We are still descending on the glide path. I will leave it for now. In fact, let's bring in flaps 2. Just try and slow us down as much as possible. Once we pass through 2,000 feet, we'll drop the landing gear, and hopefully we should be allowed to deploy to flaps 15. Generally, I would have deployed flaps 5 by 12 nautical miles. Obviously, for speed, we shouldn't even really have our flaps down at this speed. We see there's some traffic coming off. I think they're actually departing off the wrong runway.
2,500.
We're now passing for 2,500. Speed still increasing. It's a bit concerning. Might have to go around, but we'll wait and see. We might be able to manage it. The winds are calm here at Helsinki today. Right, let's try and drop the gear and see if we can decrease our speeds. That seems to be working. We're now decreasing our speed. All this means is we might have to keep autopilot on for a while. We've got a crosswind of 7 knots, which is fine. We'll just have to crab it a little bit. And we'll now decrease to our reference speed of 140. Trying to spin the flaps in as fast as possible to prevent the go-around as Helsinki renders in. This is, see, there's some moments like that, there's just, you can't help but be reminded that you're on a flight sim at the end of the day. It's unfortunate, but it's just a way of things. And I believe that is the ILS we're hearing in the background there.
1,000.
1,000. Let's bring in our full notch of flaps, and we'll bring the speed brake and arm it. And we'll let that descend. And we will take off the autopilot as well. We are going to overspeed here, I think, so we might go around. We'll wait and see. We are coming in extraordinarily fast, but I think we're just doing enough to keep below. Pitch up a little bit, just trying to cut off speeds in using very crude methods here to cut off our speeds, but crude but effective at the end of the day. Normally I like to sink myself quite low, and as you can see by sinking low there, we have got the speed that we required off. We can now bring the thrust back in to prevent us from our sink rate from descending too far. And the ILS coming on. Coming along the threshold now. Pull the rudder back.
100.
Bit of wind there.
50. 30. 20. 10.
And we're off to centre line, but given the crosswind, I'll allow that today. Speed brakes up and reversers normal. Bang on the centre line now. At 60 knots, we'll ditch reversers and we'll engage manual braking. Speed brakes up and flaps up as well. And we'll exit at this high speed exit here. Flaps now coming off as we exit the runway, and we're heading to Terminal 2 today. Fantastic. You see some fin airs there, and we've now exited the runway. Active sky updating our weather. Engine switches can come off continuous, and we'll arm the APU. Or sorry, turn the APU on, I should say. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Helsinki. Weather radar off, and we'll bring TCAS to TA only. Now, our stand is on the west side, or sorry, north side of Helsinki. So we will taxi in now, disarm the auto brakes as well. So I can bring up the landing rate. That was a landing rate of 118, which is fantastic. That's what we're looking for those good landing rates. Tips for good landing is once you hear 50, cut the throttle and flare by giving a quick, successive tugs on the yoke like this. And that will just decrease your vertical rate. People do like this. If you do one long continuous flare, what will normally happen is you will eliminate your entire vertical descent rate and you'll end up floating. So my preferred method is just give a quick few tugs on the yoke like so. When we get to around 10 to 20 feet, cut the throttle at 50, and that should give us a nice and steady landing rate. Opposed to that, obviously we landed off centre line there. But that was because of the crosswind. I'm not the best at crosswind landings, as you can see evidently, but I can get the thing on the ground, which I believe is one of the important factors. Strobe's coming on to steady now. We don't need any of these other lights. Yeah, everything's fine still. A lot of thin air here. I never really see thin air that much. This is obviously the mega airport, Helsinki, which is lovely, as you can see. Gorgeous scenery. Taxiing in now. I'm not sure what our stand number is. I just know we're at Terminal 2 and I know the general area that they park at. So we're gonna aim for there. How about that? That sounds like a good idea, eh? Helsinki, major airport in Finland. Obviously Helsinki being the capital of Finland. But that was a lovely approach, lovely weather today for a landing. We can actually turn the anti-ice off now. APU's on the bus, and by the time we get to the gate that'll be 3 minutes, so cabin crew can disarm doors and cross-check so we can get our passengers off. Right, I believe we're parking down here, so we'll just shimmy ourselves along and then we'll activate GSX. The ground textures, as you can see, Aerosoft do a fantastic job with their mega airports. You can see it's like jagged. It looks like it's been done in real life, you know, it's not perfect. Because the real world isn't perfect. And that's not a political statement, that is a simulator statement. But yeah, fantastic job on this scenery, absolutely beautiful. It's modelled amazingly and it's very decently priced. It's not extortionate at all. So if you have the money, get it. Or even better yet, summer's coming up, so wait until it's on sale. Right, I believe it will take stand 22, so we'll activate GSX and gate 22. And we'll take Swissport. And we'll bring off our runway turn-offs and taxi lights, and we'll bring our APU on the bus. I'm wondering if that stand might be a tad too small for us, just looking at the jetway. I think 21 might have been more our style. Oh well, doesn't matter. We can always deploy the air stairs. Turned a bit early on that, but we'll just compensate as we bring her into 22. There is no safe dock, but we do have a marshaller there. I see him pulling us in. He's telling us to come straight forward. And we'll pull in now. Yeah, that gate looks fine. Might not connect, but that doesn't really matter. Probably not the best idea to go into that view now that I think about it when we're trying to dock. Keep our throttles going. I actually want to line this up with the door, so I might actually go into the outside view. There. Oh, perfect. Right. Parking brake on. Cut engine 2. AP on the generator, and we'll cut
Flight
engine 1.
arrived successfully.
Hey, that's the flight tracker from UK Virtual, folks. Fantastic. Right. You parked a bit. Shut up, mate. Shut up. Don't bow. Get out of here. Turn the taxi light off. Blind him. Right. So we'll put wheel chocks on, shall we, into ground connections. And we'll attach ground power as well. Bring the APU off. And we'll bring the fuel pumps and the hydraulics on. The APU blade can come off. Packs and isolation valves are off. Probe beats off. Window heats off. Yaw dampers off. Seatbelt signs off. IRS as well. We're finishing up here today. That's me for today. So IRSs can come off. Anti-collision lights off. And do we operate the no jetways here? Okay, right. I didn't think it would work. And we'll request deboarding. So we will open up the doors as well. So we'll open up the doors and we'll open up the cargo doors for the luggage to come off. And yeah, let's just get outside and have a little look-see then, shall we? So we're now at Helsinki, offloading the bags, and that was a good flight. It was an enjoyable flight. This flight was good. The landing rate was good. The airport scenery is good. And yeah, everything about this flight just pretty much went right. So if you want to see more flights like this, make sure to comment below, send a little like, and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. I am aiming to please and do more stuff like this, you know, just stuff that people want to see and people will watch. Trying to trim down the video lengths as much as possible so you're not sitting for hours and hours on end. As you can see, I cut out a lot of the stuff in the beginning, a lot of the planning and all that, because it's the same stuff every time, you know, and we just really want to see the planes and the airports, you know what I mean? And left in a little bit of planning for those people that like it. But I'll leave you with this scene of the Norwegian and me cutting through the gate as if it's jelly, and some of the scenery around. This is obviously Mega Airport Helsinki. It's an aerosol product, as I've stated about 20 times, and it's fantastic. Just look at it. Nice glass and all that sort of stuff. It's always, oh, and here comes the passengers. It's always the foreign airports that look better than ours. I don't know why. The passengers are now disembarking off the air bridge into the gates because that's GSX for you, I'm afraid. I think some of the gates work. I might be wrong about that, but I believe this might just be, we might have just picked the wrong gate. I mean, the passengers are now just, do you know what, I don't even know what we're doing. Let's zoom in on Helsinki, shall we? So this has been Oslo to Helsinki, and I shall see you all on the next flight.